Out there? Kia ora tatou. Kia ora. I'm wearing my story tonight. It's probably my sneaky way of getting out of having any cue cards, or the rules said you weren't allowed to really use props and bits and pieces, but I have a habit of things just switching off up here when I'm a little bit under pressure. So I thought I need some cues, I need some props, and I work in the museum world, so I like tangible things. So I decided I'd wear my tangible things to help me tell my little story tonight. Now, Nat touched on a little bit of colour in her story, and my story is colourful as well, and it's really about the place of colour in our lives. And I guess you can have a look at me and see that I probably quite enjoy colour. So I decided I'd do a little bit of personal archaeology tonight. I would expose some layers. It's all right, I'm going to keep it all on. But I was going to look into my wardrobe, because a couple of months ago, I went up the road to a mate's house that we decided we'd go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show at the Regent Theatre. So we were getting our tranny on. We were digging through our costume boxes and looking for something that would make us look like a Transylvanian or similar. So I'd pulled a few things out of my somewhat sad costume box at home, and I went up to my mate Tanya's. She's from the UK, she's immigrated to New Zealand, and she said, come out to the sleep out, I've got to find some bits and pieces. And she pulled all these boxes out from under her bed and some shelves, and started pulling out all these clothes. Now, Tanya was a goth back in the day, in the 80s, the same time when I was a teenager, and she pulled out all these wonderful dark shreds of fabric, and each time she pulled out something, trying to decide what to wear to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, she had a wee story that went with it about a mate or an event or something that went with it. And it got me thinking about how we have memories connected to our clothes, and just I thought, take a little minute to look what you're wearing tonight, if anyone, have we think about any memories and connections that might be within the thing that you've got on tonight, because we'll come back to that. So it got me thinking. Tanya had this wonderful archive of her personal history from the 80s that she'd carried across the world with her, and there's probably 5 or 6 very large boxes that came from the other side of the world with her goth memories in it. So I thought I might go home and have a look at my wardrobe and see what was there. Now, I grew up in small town Timaru in the 80s, so my access to goth culture was pretty limited. In fact, I probably couldn't have even told you what a goth was when I was a teenager. So my influences were very much Cyndi Lauper and Boy George, that sort of era, and you can probably tell from what I'm wearing. So some of that still carries on. So I thought I'd have a little look in my wardrobe and see what I could discover from the connections in my clothing. Now, what I first discovered when I looked in there is that I don't have memories that connect to actual specific pieces of clothing like my mate Tanya. My memories are very much connected to the colours of my clothing, and Nat mentioned about the pink in India and the impression that makes. So if you open my wardrobe and kind of stand back in case you get hit by what comes out of it, it could be described as perhaps visual indigestion you might encounter, or in the words of another 80s icon that I'm rather fond of, Linus Kawa, a visual symphony is what you might see. It's very difficult for me to wear all of my wardrobe at once, because it is quite challenging to put all the colours and patterns that I love together. So I do have a little bit of dark stuff to kind of offset the visual indigestion. So I thought I'd start looking at what was in there. I don't have any hats, because I tend to like colouring my hair. That's something that is me, and those of you that know me in the audience, it goes from all sorts of shades, being just about every colour under the sun. When I was sort of 16, 17, I was in theatre sort of side of things in small town Timaru. There was a lady that I remember, I still remember to this day. Her name was Miss Moynihan. She was a piano teacher, and every time there was an event, an opening night for theatre, she would glide into the hall, and I hate to think how old she was. She must have been 80, perhaps early 90s. She wore a lovely brocade dress. She was Timaru's answer to Dame Edna. She had those lovely flyaway glasses. But on the top of her head, she had this amazing shock of apricot hair, which was almost unheard of in Timaru in the 80s. So she just glided along, came in, watched, and left an impression on a lot of us younger teenagers. And I just noticed looking in the mirror the other day, I'm kind of apricot myself, which must mean the years are passing and I'm kind of getting that way myself. Moving down, I've got a rainbow shirt on tonight. If anyone saw the Facebook page, there was a shot of me in a rainbow shirt, age 17, back in 1988. Something I'd bought at the Vic Market in Auckland with my first clothing allowance, age 17. And rainbow shirts are something I go to when I want to feel happy, cheer myself up, kind of feel on top of things. So it's funny that 30 years later, in my wardrobe here, there's still a rainbow shirt that I put on to feel happy and cheer myself up with. This one's a Anoush number by Susie Johnson here in our part of the world. But rainbow shirts are something that are quite important to me. So if you see me wearing a rainbow shirt, I'm feeling good. If you see me in pastels or dark colours, you need to give me a bit of a kick and say, put bright colours on. I also like this shirt because on the back, it's pink. And pink is my other favourite colour. You can probably see a little bit in here. And when I was looking in my wardrobe, I thought there's just some layers I can see here of colour. The top layer is quite pink at the moment. Pink's the colour of the now. Then there's a bit of red, a bit of green, and it sort of filters down to some other colours. And I thought, I wonder what's going on here. Tanya's got these lovely memories connected to events and things in her clothing. What have I got? Why have I got these colour layers? So I thought about pink. That's my recent colour favourite. I thought, well, it probably ties back to when I had pink here when we did an exhibition opening here at the library with another mate of mine, David Lupton. He does these lovely photographs of pressed flowers with pinks and purples and lovely jewel colours. And I couldn't help myself after working with that. I kind of went a little bit pink, and I guess things followed. And I thought, pink was hard on the heels of my red phase. Where did the red phase come from? And I thought, well, then I was doing a project a couple of years ago with the Rugby Museum doing a World War I remembrance exhibition. Lots of remembrance, centenary type stuff, red as a colour, very much linked to that. And I thought, I think I can probably trace the red layer back to that. Then there's this little bit of sort of eroded green layer sitting at the bottom of the water. Where did that come from? Well, even further back, there was another project I did with Horizons Regional Council where we worked on something called the Green Ring, which was very much about environmental education. I had green hair back then, and I had some green clothes. So I quickly deduced that I'm officially as shallow as a bird bath. My clothes reflect my work. I don't know if it does for you. But why is that? Well, I thought, how do we think about this? I guess I'm lucky that I'm a freelancer. I get to work on often quite big projects, exhibition, museum type projects that run for a number of years. And I guess they become a little bit of me, and I become a little bit of them in the process. So that tends to reflect a little bit in how I project myself. So I also remembered that the worst job I had in the world, working for an engineering consultancy, I wore a lot of grey and black and navy blue. So it's pretty obvious what's going on here. That's why I put these on. Also to remind me that you can take the Timaroo, the girl out of Timaroo, but you can't take the Timaroo out of the girl. I'm a bit like Paula Bennett. I'm rather partial to the odd bit of leopard print now and again. So you will find that in my wardrobe too. So I thought, is there a thread that runs through this colour in my wardrobe when I was doing my personal archaeology? And for a few people I can see, any of you who do know me, probably know what that colour is. It's on my feet. Purple. Purple is my go-to colour. I always wear purple in some place if I can. And I love purple shoes. I love coloured shoes. I had a great-grandmother called Granny Red Shoes. Obviously, coloured shoes are something that run in our family. And her favourite colour was purple, despite the fact she loved red shoes as well. And she had a purple and green drawing room at the turn of the century, which probably was quite unusual, and I imagine was full of velvet and tassels and lace. And I have a purple and green room at home as well. So I think there must be something going on with the women in our family. So I thought, is there anything in the wardrobe colour-wise that I don't have? There's no white, there's no brown, there's no yellow or dark green. So those are colours I don't tend to do. I thought, well, I'm a bit of a colour chameleon, I think. I change colour, another bad 80s sort of song there, Coca-Cola chameleon. But, I have quite strong memories associated with colours, and I'm kind of interested if anyone else has that as well, because I notice when I'm starting to feel a little down and things perhaps catching up on me, my colours start to fade in what I wear. And when I want to push myself back up, I tend to deck myself out in something a lot more bright and cheerful. So if you see me around town and I'm looking a little pasty or pastel or a little grey, please remind me. And remind me of those words, which I do love, that poem of Jenny Joseph that says, "Warning, when I am an old woman, I shall wear purple with a red hat that doesn't go and doesn't suit me." And it goes on to talk about drinking brandy and, wasting your money and eating lots of sausages whilst, lazing around. So I thought that was a pretty good summation of what I'd like to do as I age disgracefully. So, thank you for listening.